Welcome back everyone to the Algebra 1 video series. Today's lesson is solving equations with grouping symbols. The first step to solving an equation is always to remove the grouping symbols. Now what's important here is you need to acknowledge that there is more than one type of grouping symbol. We can include parentheses, which by this point you are more than familiar with, the square brackets, and the curlier version called braces. Those are all very similar and acknowledged as parentheses. Absolute value bars. This is one that people tend to forget about. If you are given a problem with absolute value bars, you need to treat that similarly to parentheses in that that needs to be simplified first. The last thing is a division bar. All right, here it's almost as if parentheses are implied in both the top and the bottom. So therefore, you need to solve the top and the bottom first before actually doing the division. So again, you need to remember, remove all the grouping symbols first. Then you're going to work on the side of the equation that contains the variable. You'll undo each operation that has been done to the variable. Undo your addition and subtraction before the multiplication and division. This is the opposite of order of operations. And then also, don't forget to combine like terms whenever possible. Okay, so let's get into a couple of the examples. Example 1, here we have hopefully what you're recognizing as distributive property. And I'm going to go right into eliminating the parentheses by doing the distributive property. So I'm going to take my 3 times a, which gives us 3a. I'm then going to take my 3 times 2, which is a positive 6, and bring down the rest of the equation. You may possibly be able to identify here that now we're back to a two-step equation. We are going to first undo that addition by subtracting 6 from both sides. That's going to leave us with a 3a on the left and a 15 on the right. Now we're going to undo the multiplication by dividing. 3 over 3 cancels, a is alone, and we get our answer of 5. Example 2, get rid of the parentheses again through distributive property. Take that negative 4 into every member of the group. So that's going to give us a positive 12y. We're going to get a negative 8 and break down the rest of the equation. Now it's time to undo what's there. So add 8. Our 8s are going to eliminate. And be careful here, we have a negative 20 and a positive 8, which combine to give us a negative 12. Let's undo that multiplication by dividing by 12, and we end up with our answer of negative 1. And remember, you can check these answers easily. Take what we get for our solution, plug it into the original equation. You should get a true statement. If not, go back and check for errors. So let's make it a little bit more complicated here. And you're going to see in problems that sometimes parentheses are there basically to throw you off, all right, or just to test you as far as are they necessary or are they not necessary. In this case, the parentheses around the x plus 3 are not necessary because they follow a plus sign. This plus sign changes nothing, so really we can just eliminate those parentheses. The second set of parentheses, however, are necessary. They're necessary because of this minus sign. That minus sign is indicating that we need to subtract everything in that second group. So I'm going to need to subtract the 2x, and I'm also going to need to subtract the negative 5. And I'll bring down my equals 8. Big thing here is that minus negative. Alarm should already be going off in your mind. That just doesn't even sound nice. So we're going to change this minus negative into a plus 5. So I'm just going to bring everything else down. And now we're ready to combine like terms. I'm going to start with my variables. I have 1x, 2x, negative 2x. Putting all of those together, looks like we're getting a 0x. And you may be a little nervous about this, but just hang on. We're going to finish things up to see where we're at. So we have a 0x. 3 plus 5 is 8 equals 8. Undo the plus 8 by subtracting 8. And we're left with a 0x equals 0, which would lead us to 0 equals 0. So this is interesting because not only did our x disappear and we're left with nothing, but everything else disappeared as well. So the statement 0 equals 0 is a true statement. I think everybody can agree that, yes, 0 does equal 0. Well, when we get a true statement such as this, our solution to the equation is what we call all real numbers. And you can show that by a capital R with almost 2 backs, if you want to think of it that way. And what this answer really means is that you can pick any number you like and substitute it in for the x's, and it will always work. So our solution, there really is one. It's all real numbers. Let's try another one. Simplifying through, I see a distributive property right away in the beginning, so I'm going to take care of that. I come across another distributive property, so I'm going to multiply that 9 through. Be careful with your signs. And now I'm ready to combine like terms and start simplifying. So my next step, I see a positive 8r and a positive 18r. I can add those together to get a 26r. I now see a negative 8 and a negative 63. I can combine those to get a negative 71. And I'm going to bring down the rest of my equation. And now we're ready to isolate the variable and find our solution for r. So let's undo the subtraction. And we're going to cancel out there. 26r is the only thing left on that side. And here again, use a calculator at this point if you feel that you could possibly make a mistake with the sign change. We have a negative 149 and we have a positive 71. So when you put that together, that's going to give us a negative 78. Divide both sides by the 26. Again, always being mindful of your signs. We have a negative 78 divided by a positive 26, and that's going to give us a negative 3. Feel free to check your answers if at any time you feel that you could have possibly made an error. These are nice and easy for you to check yourself. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to suggest you pause the video, try example 5. If you have questions about example 5, bring them into your teacher the next time you see them for class, and we'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Example 6, now we've got a word problem. All right, in the word problem here, we're told that Jane, Jasmine, and Jocelyn have many pairs of shoes. Jane has 3 times as many pairs as Jocelyn. Jasmine has 2 more than twice the number Jocelyn has. Together, the 3 girls have 56 pairs of shoes. How many pairs of shoes does each girl have? Right? You're definitely going to want to keep in mind the 6 steps to solving word problems. And there'll be a reminder of those 6 steps at the end of this video in case you didn't get them in class. Okay, so at this point with the word problem, you may be thinking, I have no idea where to start. Don't panic. Easiest thing to do, figure out which person we know nothing about, and we're going to call that X. So reading the question here, I can see that I know nothing about Jocelyn. So I'm going to say that Jocelyn has X number of shoes. Similarly, from the problem, I'm getting that Jane is 3 times that amount. And Jasmine is 2 more than twice the amount. Once you have these 3 components set up, now we can easily take all 3 girls' amounts, add them together, and we're told in the problem that altogether they had 56 shoes, 56 pairs of shoes. So now let's combine our x's. We get 6x plus 2 equals 56. And now we're at a very simple 2-step problem. Undo the addition. Undo the multiplication. And we get an answer of x equals 9. So from here, now we need to answer the question fully. It's asking how many pairs of shoes does each girl have? Well, we've got an answer, x is 9, and I see Jocelyn is my x. So Jocelyn has 9 pairs of shoes. Jane has 3 times that amount, which would be 27. And Jasmine has 2 more than twice the amount. Twice the amount is 18, plus 2 more gives Jasmine 20 pairs of shoes. So we have our answer to the question. Okay, last one that I want to walk through with you is a combination of grouping symbols. We're going to always remember to work inside out. So my innermost parentheses are showing a distributive property here. So I'm going to start there by multiplying both of those by the 3. And now I'm going to take everything in the square brackets and multiply it by a 2. Combine your like terms. And now let's undo. So we're going to add a 6. And we're going to divide by 8. And we get our answer of 3. Okay, so last part here then is if you didn't get this in class during the lesson, make sure you copy the 6 steps to solving word problems. This is something we're definitely going to start focusing on and having you get more comfortable with. First step, understand the problem. Make sure you know what's being asked of you before you write anything down. Draw a picture if necessary. If they mention a shape in the problem, it can be helpful for you to draw that shape. Remember the let statements. And I didn't use the word let, but this was for the word problem where I had x equal Jocelyn's shoes. Number 4, write an appropriate equation. And you can start with a word equation if that helps you. Now solve the equation. And then finally, make sure you answer the question in complete sentences if you are asked to explain. Good luck with the homework, and if you have questions, see your teacher as soon as possible. Have a great day.